So I'm going to kick us off with our agenda. We'll start with welcome, introductions, and inclusion like we always do. We'll go over our norms, and then we'll hear from the students who participated in the SAC and CTSO project about the lessons learned. And then today we have a special guest who will talk to us about a youth voice toolkit. She'll be joining us later in the meeting. And she'll talk about how to engage other young people in order to get the results that you're looking for. And then we want to hear from you about the topics that the SAC should focus on. And then we'll hear advice from departing seniors. We have about 6 seniors departing. I know not all of them can join us, but we'll be able to hear from those that can join us. And then we'll end with reflections and closing. And for our inclusion, I'd like us to just go around, say your name, and one thing you're looking forward to this summer. And I'll stop sharing my screen so that we can see each other. And I'll call you based on how I can see you on my screen. So I see Olivia, Chi, and Nicole, and Heaven in that order.
My name is Olivia, and this summer I'm looking forward to starting the move-in process for college and start dorm shopping.
My name is Chi, and this summer I'm looking forward to continuing my research project.
Hi, my name is Nicole. I'm most looking forward to working my paid internship starting this summer.
Hi, my name is Heaven, and I'm looking forward to my internship with Lori Children's.
Nice. All of you seem to have exciting plans for the summer. Next on my screen is Sam, Jose, Anthony, and Rowan.
Hi, my name is Samuel, and one thing I'm looking forward to for summer is probably working and traveling.
Hi, my name is Jose, and I'm really looking forward to just kicking back and relaxing, and also just working.
Hello, my name is Anthony. I honestly haven't really thought a whole lot about it, but I'm really excited to get cross country started back up again and to actually have some downtime.
Hi, my name is Rowan. I'm really looking forward to my internship and my family vacation. I get to go see my first live concert, so I'm pretty excited.
Nice. And Danya, I think you're the only one who hasn't gone.
Yeah, hi everybody. I am just so excited for warm weather and being able to go sit by the lake. I'm not too far from the lake and I go walking by there as often as I possibly can, but I haven't gotten to just sit and enjoy being out there because I'm incredibly sensitive to cold. So I'm just excited to go sit by the water.
That's my plan too, Danya. I'm also very close to the lake and I'm looking forward to bike rides and walks by the lake. And Pragati, you just joined us. We were just going around and saying one thing we're looking forward to this summer.
So over the summer, I'm probably looking forward to go to India and spend time with my family.
Nice. So lots of travel and some work and some rest. And thanks for those of you who have entered in the chat where you'll be working, all very different experiences. We look forward to hearing about them either by email for those who are graduating or at our next SAC meeting. So thank you all for sharing that.
As per usual, you're always going to want to be on time. Be on time. You're going to want to actively participate in the meetings. If you're here, we want you to be here as well. Complete assignments, accountability, it's a really good thing to have. Listen to others. I mean, cooperation is how we build ourselves stronger. Be respectful and inclusive. Obviously, we want to make a good environment for everybody to share their concerns. That way we can all work together well. Stay open-minded very well ties into that. you're only as strong as the ideas around you as well. Be kind and don't be afraid to talk. Just be out there and make sure that they're presenting your ideas as well. That way other people can build off of them. Make sure that you're staying focused, not doing other tasks. And if possible, please have on a camera.
Wonderful. Thanks, Anthony. And now I'll kick it to Dania to lead the discussion on the lessons learned from the students who participated in the SAC and CTSO project. Dania, shall I stop sharing?
Honestly, I think you're good to keep on sharing because I'm gonna have the students that were a part of this session speak up in just a moment with this slide, and then I'll just have you move to the next when we wrap up this portion. But I just wanted to remind you all that were not a part of this presentation that we had some of our wonderful SAC students be a part of a presentation at the Success Network conference over a month ago now. Wow, time really has flown. And they worked alongside the Career and Technical Student Organization Board, essentially as a reminder of what that process looked like a little bit. They engaged with a survey that was done through ISB and the National Alliance on Work-Based Learning Partnerships to look at how students across the state of Illinois, over 7,000 students, were engaging in career and technical education and dual credit. And our wonderful students, as a part of the SAC, working with the CTSO board, did some analysis on that data and brought forth some recommendations. And as y'all remember, in January, we brought some of those recommendations to y'all as like a way to pressure test and see if you agreed with those recommendations. I'm just reminding in case any of folks missed that day, or it's been kind of a while since January, so a reminder of the process. And those recommendations were pressure tested with y'all and sent out as a part of the homework assignment to get some feedback about those recommendations. And then our members on the stage ended up sharing out what those recommendations are and what they learned from the data. And so I'm going to pass along to Anthony, Sam, Rowan, Jose, and Nicole to speak up in any order that you would like about what your experience with this was, what you learned from the process, what you learned from the results, and anything else you would like to share about your experience.
Did you say you were starting with me?
I can start. So I was in charge of putting a slideshow together. And one of the very first lessons that I learned was a research project can be very overwhelming and task demanding, but with the right team of everyone sharing the same passion and having the same motivation, and then also just knowing how technology works, if that makes sense. So spreadsheet shortcuts and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be so overwhelming. But I really enjoyed getting to speak in front of everyone and kind of watching the people in the crowd be amazed as we brought things to their awareness that usually weren't they typically weren't before. So they were either in agreement with us or they were very their reactions were kind of kept to themselves. But I think we got our point across, and I think everyone in the room at least took something back to their workplace or their school to kind of change and address within their students. So I think we all did a great job.
I agree that you all did a wonderful job. And I'm glad you enjoyed the experience as well. I was saying, because we started with Nicole, we can do right to left based on how y'all are sitting in this wonderful picture. So Jose.
Yeah, so overall, this experience is really amazing. I think it was something really new that most of us never really experienced, talking in a large in front of a large audience. I learned a lot about my topic, more about my topic, CTEs, and also just how to I guess formulate a presentation in a way that you don't I guess seeming confident in a way. And since we all practice multiple times beforehand, I think that it just helped us feel more knowledgeable and confident when we're presenting this information. So I think I just learned more about presenting and being confident in that type of space and area, especially with that much pressure on you. and also just like working with everyone else. Like I had like a bunch of people that I could rely on now. It wasn't just like oh, this is yours, or it's like, oh, I could help you here, like here's a recommendation. So I think that also helped. I liked like most of it, I guess.
Awesome. Thank you. Rowan?
For me, I think one of my biggest takeaways was kind of building a sense of self-confidence, being around a bunch of other people who are supporting you and being able to adapt on the fly. That was one I really took away from that is we had to move some slides around and things got changed and some of the stuff wasn't necessarily yours, got picked up or moved off of your plate. And so it was really nice to have an opportunity to trust yourself in what you know and trust others to help you along the way and like building that sense of teamwork. And it was also really cool to build connections at the conference. Like we have like knowing the people, not only like our student team, but also like Marcy Johnson, and then having a bigger connection with you guys. And then even the people we just interacted with at the conference who were attending, they're all there to support you and want to hear from you. So it was an amazing experience to be somewhere where they want to hear from you more than you just trying to get your point across. So they'll listen to you. They wanted to listen. So
Awesome. Thank you, Rowan. Sam?
So overall, the experience was very great. I mean, I was nervous at first, but once I got into everything, it was a really fun experience for me, and it really taught me how to like not be so much a solo act, but like to rely on others as well. Because I'm usually a solo act, but like I've been open, like a lot more open to relying on others to help me out. So that's like a personal lesson that I learned.
That's awesome. And we'll end off with Anthony.
This experience was overall really positively impactful for me. It put me into a really new environment. I mean, the most people that I've spoken for were like maybe 20-ish. And now we're in a room of over 300 plus people who are like the top dogs of education, like in their own rights. And that was really empowering. I definitely know that I wasn't as prepared as I should have been, but like kind of tying it back earlier, it really did help with like that sort of improvisation. Yeah. Overall, really positive experience. I think I consumed between 400 and 700 calories of coffee creamer that day, which might have also added to some of the stuff, but overall, just a really good experience.
I'm so glad. And as I say this next portion, I'm going to have Edith go on to the next slide. And I'm also going to put in the chat a blog post that we wrote about what the students presented and the full process and experience. And it has the video recording of what they shared as well, if you're interested in the recommendations that they shared and a little bit more about what we did. But I'm glad to hear again that y'all had a good experience, because certainly on the other end around, we wanted to share the research or the session survey results that Edith compiled here for us from the respondents for the survey results about y'all's session and about the conference in general. And so here we have it that 93% of the 101 respondents indicated that they strongly agreed that the Student Voices lunchtime session, the session that our wonderful students were a part of, was helpful and interesting, and that they'd learned something they can apply to their work. And y'all can see in front of you some of the things that folks said about it as well, that folks want to talk to their counselor about making dual credit courses more accessible to freshmen, which was one of the specific recommendations that was brought forth in the presentation, and that people really enjoyed like the energy that came from it, and that, you know, it was the highlight for them. It was something that a lot of our team thought was a highlight as well. When we were going around and talking about we play a game called Rosebud Thorn, and y'all were, you know, our rose. And so glad that y'all enjoyed it. I hope that anybody that has any, you know, questions about it or wants to learn more about it feels comfortable reading the blog post.
I just want to say how excited and proud we are of all the SAC students who were able to participate in that process. I know even for me as an adult, speaking in front of 360 people makes me nervous, but you guys did such a fantastic job. And what you talked about really resonated with the audience. These are just a few examples of what, some of the comments that we got from the survey that we gave out. And as we had expected, really the Student Voices session was the highlight of the conference, because people really want to know that the work they're doing is having an impact on young people, and hearing your recommendations and hearing the research was very helpful and relevant to them. But I'll let anybody else who wants to jump in with any questions or comments jump in before we go to the next session.
I just want to add based off of what Edith had said about really resonated with the audience. So actually, one of the people in the audience went up to my superintendent and was like talking about me and like the work of the whole student panel did. I still have no idea who this gentleman was, and I had never met him, never talked with him or anything like that. But I think that may have been the case for a lot of people, a lot of us here today, but we just don't know that, so there's people who know us and we don't know them, that are greatly impacted by what we chose to spend our time doing. So I think that is something that everyone should take back with them to their schools.
Just again, a big thank you and congratulations to all those who participated in that. And our guest speaker has actually joined us. You may have noticed her already. So we are just super excited to be joined today by Kalia Kellybroo. She is the project manager for schools and systems at an organization called XQ Institute. And she's going to talk to us about a youth voice toolkit and that her organization uses to engage young people. And she'll walk you through that, and you'll have time for questions. So Kalia, welcome. Thanks again for joining us, and I'll kick it over to you.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm so excited to be here. And thank you, Edith, for the warm welcome. My name is Kayla. Like Edith said, I'm a project manager at XQ. And I'm really excited and I'm so thankful that you guys have welcomed me into your space today. I'm going to be giving an overview of our Youth Voice Toolkit, and I've prepared a slide deck. So let me just get that situated. All right, let's get this in presenter mode. All right, can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
Great. So like Edith said, my name is Kayla. I work at XQ, and at XQ, we are dedicated to rethinking the high school experience, so every student graduates ready to succeed in college, career, and life. Our vision is for young people everywhere to have vibrant high schools where they can grow to their fullest as civic participants, critical readers, proactive problem solvers, original thinkers, generous collaborators, and learners for life. Our approach is guided by deep research and powered by data and storytelling that inspire action. And in partnership with a growing network of schools, districts, and states, we are advancing a movement that radically transforms the high school experience for young people everywhere. So the way that I like to kind of sum this up is it doesn't matter what zip code you live in. Every student should have access to high quality education that is rigorous and relevant, while also meaningful to you and your lived experiences. Undergirding all of our work is our learner outcomes. These are a set of rigorous, scientifically based outcomes that speak to what all young people should know and be able to do by the time they graduate high school, right? So working with some of the best minds in the country and building on the best research, we develop these learner outcomes so that they are profoundly student focused and so that they drive system change. And in order for students to align with these outcomes, though, these need to be able to be translated into practice, which leads us to our design principles. The XQ design principles guide any school community that's ready to rethink high school, so all students achieve the XQ learner outcomes. These research-backed principles are foundational to the XQ school design process, which has been used by teams across the country to redesign their existing schools or design new ones. Our learner outcomes and our design principles are deeply embedded in everything we do. And so I wanted to start with an overview of them, as you'll see them show up within the toolkit. And perhaps the most salient one to the toolkit is youth voice and choice. So I'm excited to dive in. With that being said, let's get into it. So the Youth Voice Toolkit serves as a comprehensive resource / framework to help students drive change in their high school community. The toolkit focuses on self-awareness and community insights, issue identification, and ally building, and the transformation of ideas into tangible actions, all in harmony with our design principles and our learner outcomes that I spoke to you about earlier. So I guess to give you guys a backstory, and forgive me, I totally let me do a little rewind on what the work that I do specifically at XQ. So I like to say that I sit at the intersection of adults and students. So as a member of the schools and systems team, I get to work really closely with, educators, school leaders, different folks in our network. And I also get to work really closely with my partner in Impact, Natesia Ross, our Director of Youth Engagement, on all things student related. So her and I lead our own SAC that we call our Student Advisory Council. And, after a little bit of time, just facilitating these meetings with students, we really came to this conclusion that students like you guys are uniquely positioned to do a few things when it comes to high school transformation, right? So students are uniquely positioned to identify what's working and what is not working in the high school space. Students are uniquely positioned to share their ideas on what needs to take place to have an informative and exciting high school experience. Inspire other students to use and develop their voice to advocate for change. And what I think the toolkit really gets to is influence educators and other community stakeholders to be invested in transforming high school education, right? So we created this toolkit to really leverage that last piece of being to influence educators and other adults in your community to kind of accomplish this really big and sometimes daunting task of reimagining what high school can be for all students everywhere. So that's kind of the context in which the Youth Voice Toolkit came about. Going into the actual toolkit, there are 3 key components, right? So there's the website that helps students understand the toolkit sections and its content, including tips, key concepts, and resources. There's the companion guide, which is a Google slide deck that serves as an interactive experience containing individual and team exercises. And there's my favorite part, the case-making template, which gives students a simple template that can be used to help them present and make the case for the change they seek to an educator, school leader, whoever. So like I said, this is not a prescriptive resource, right? This is really truly take what resonates, leave what doesn't, whatever serves you best as a student leader or as a budding change maker at your high school, however you think it'll help you, we encourage you to use it in that way. And I'll get into some examples of how some students, including your peer Emily, have used the toolkit. But yeah, I just wanted to go over the 3 key parts of the tool itself. So some of the ways that we've seen this toolkit being used. I have a student who has used the case-making template to pitch a business idea within her business class at her high school, kind of mirroring the experience she would have if she were to pitch an idea IRL to community partners. I have a student that uses the companion guide specifically to help structure her student council meetings, where within those meetings, they talk through the changes they want to make at their high school. We have students in New York City who are currently undergoing redesign at their high school, or they're working towards redesigning their high schools. And they've used the companion guide as well to kind of help flex their leadership muscles as they work with adults at their school on redesign efforts. And sorry, I flipped the order a bit here. And we have educators that have expressed interest in implementing the toolkit and all its components into their advisory period to help students articulate themselves and lean into becoming change makers. So all of this to say, there are so many different ways you can use this resource, and like whichever way feels best for you is how we would encourage you to use it. So with that being said, I kind of want to dig into like the meat and bones of this tool and kind of walk you through it a little bit. So should you like stumble upon it, or like click the link, you'll be taken to their website, and you'll have the option of going through our companion guide. And that's what I kind of want to focus on a little bit here today, just because I feel like this is one of our most like popular components of the toolkit that seems to be used often. But I just wanted to actually pause here if there are any questions on anything that I've said before I kind of go further into it.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
So how far does your organization stretch? Like, is it like a full national,
Yeah.
just state of Illinois, international?
Yeah, so we work nationally. I had a slide that I like took down because I don't know, I didn't think I'd be able to get to it, but we work nationally with schools and districts across the nation. So yeah, we have schools like I'm based in California. We have some schools here. We work with some schools in like Tennessee. We work with Illinois through some of our partnership work, but yeah. Internationally, I hope soon. All right. Thank you for your question. And if there are like questions like throughout any of this, like please feel free to put them in the chat, and I'll hope to get to them soon. But okay, going into the companion guide. So you'll open it up, you'll see this beautiful like Google slide deck. You'll be able to make a template, so you'll have your own copy. And right off the bat, you'll see some examples from other students that have enacted change in their high school. When we were making this, like we really thought it would be a missed opportunity not to include moments of inspiration, because we know that change making, it can often be like a daunting process. And I don't know, personally, I think like seeing what other students have done, like it can be really motivating. And so here's our inspiration library. This is just where we're starting. I hope as we continue to iterate this tool that we can add more stories of student change. But this is just some to give you like some breadth to this. And we have other examples embedded throughout the companion guide and the website as well. After that slide, you'll go into the table of contents, and I'm going to spend some time here highlighting our 3 focus areas. So in orange, you'll see our Learn section. This has exercises that are geared towards supporting students learning how to identify what matters to them and their high school community. In purple, we have the plan section, where students will begin to formulate plans on how to bring their vision to reality. These exercises give students practice in sharing ideas to engage deeply with other stakeholders. And then finally, in yellow, we have the act section, where students activate their initiatives, build valuable skills, and reflect on their journeys. So as you can see, there are 15 steps, but we recognize that, you know, you might find yourselves at different parts of your change-making journey. And so we encourage you, as well as adults who are maybe like helping you through this process to identify what your needs may be and work from there. So this is the point where I kind of want to make this a little bit interactive and kind of like include you guys in this. I was originally just gonna like go through some different activities, but I think what might be, I don't know, you guys might get a little bit more out of it is if there is like, as you like look at my screen and read through these different exercises, like what's calling out to you? Like what is an exercise that you think could be helpful to you as you think about yourself as like, you know, a student or as like a leader or a change maker? What would you be interested in learning more about? And then perhaps we can go through like that activity. So I'll open the floor.
Exercise 3 that says build the change team. What does that look like?
Yeah, love that. Okay. And this is me going off script. I'm gonna have to close this one to go to the actual companion guide. So if you open the companion guide on like your own like computer, it'll look like this. It'll be a Google slide. But okay, build the change team. So I guess to context set before this exercise, you'll spend, if you decide to do these two exercises, you'll spend the first two exercises really like going deep and reflecting on who you are as like I said, like a student or like a leader or just someone in high school. And then you'll go into kind of like what it means to like like what power means like in your own context, right? So like we have lessons on like what does it mean to have power over someone, power with someone. And then after that, the hope is that you kind of like you're fired up and you're ready to start like thinking through what change at your high school can look like with your peers. So going into this exercise, we have like a little like mini lesson on, right, like the importance of building a change team, and like the guiding principles that kind of surround that, right? So designing inclusively, promoting safety, building relationships. These are kind of like tips as you start this process, and then you kind of go into the actual exercise. In one exercise, it's you'll simply write like you'll write down the names, each person's roles. We give you some roles to consider. You'll then, oh, here's a filled out example. You'll then kind of like set team commitments, and sort of figure out what your first team meeting is going to be, right? And here in the this orange header, you'll see an example of how students at one of our schools in Tennessee established team roles for a change effort that they were a part of. That was the example slide. This is the slide that you'll fill in. And then you'll be ready for the next exercise. So that was one of the exercises within the toolkit. Would love to do another one if anyone is, would love to go through another one if anyone has one that they are interested in learning about.
Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. Can we do the 14 present the case for change? Is that one? Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm having a hard time.
Oh, no worries at all.
Thank you.
All right, so we're presenting the case for change, right? Ideally, we've gone through like these other steps. We've learned how to research the change that we're creating. We've made a vision statement. How do we get this in front of adults? At that point, you will be ready to start using the case-making template, which I think I alluded to this earlier, but this is actually like my favorite piece of the toolkit, because even as an adult, like I've been using this like in my own work and in my own meetings, right? So essentially, this will lead you to a customizable slide deck where let's say you are presenting to like a board, like you're going to a board meeting, or you're about to present to like your principal or whoever. You're gonna you're gonna have all the knowledge from all of the exercises before it, and we give you this template to really bring that to life, right? So we just did right before this the exercise on creating a change team. Boom. Beautiful slide deck. We have the name, role. You can put headshots of folks if you need to, an agenda slide. What I love about this is, when you do like those like templates and it says like lorem ipsum, or it's like, I don't know, like that filler language, we kind of like did not want to use that, and we were like, okay, like let's actually be clear about what we want like to be able to present within these slide decks, because storytelling is so powerful, and we wanted to be able to give you guys like the context to do that. So there's like a slide focused on highlighting your values. There are slides dedicated to helping you map out for folks like what your journey to get to this point was. We even have some really beautiful like quote slides, the historical context of the change that you're creating, the current context. In like other exercises, there are exercises on like how to like do like research and kind of like abstract data on the issue that you're hoping to create. And so there's a beautiful slide on like bringing that to life. There are like, here's what we heard, your insights, really getting deep into it. I'm like looking at this and I'm like, wow, this is like, I love this. What success would look like for you. I can go on and on, but essentially this is like the final piece of like the puzzle here, right? Like making the case to stakeholders, to adults, to whoever, and that's what this template is. And kind of like all of the previous exercises kind of like culminate in being able to use this. But like I said, if you like are like really digging this slide deck, then this is like, you can just use this right off the bat. But yeah. Go back to this slide deck. Are there any like questions, or like what are like some thoughts that you guys are having as I'm going over this?
I think my biggest question, like especially with the building the team and like trying to make the progression towards your end game and like your goal is, especially like when you start a project, you're the one that's the most motivated in it, like ways to keep your team motivated and in it, especially as like people get busy or like they just have the same kind of focus that you do. I didn't.
Yeah. Sorry, I think you cut out there a little bit, but I think I heard most of that, right? Like how to get folks like motivated to like continue doing the work with you. Yeah. So that's kind of what I like. Sorry. So the exercises in the companion guide are meant to be used sort of like as like, supplements to the work that you might already be doing, and help move the work forward. On our website, yes, we also have sort of mini lessons that like kind of complement they kind of complement each exercise, that I think, like to your point about like motivating people, I think like structuring the work that you guys do around some of these lessons could really like support with that. And like kind of like help drive forward like why you guys are like doing the work that you're doing, if that makes sense. Any other questions or thoughts as I go over this?
Kayla, I don't know if you see Olivia's comment in the chat. she likes how streamlined it is and how easy it is to use, very
Oh,
straightforward, which helps motivation and progress.
yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, Olivia, for sharing. I like sometimes, I don't know if you guys are like this too, but sometimes when I present, I like forget the chat exists. So thank you, Edith. Um, but yeah, I have been really excited to share this with you. I think I'll say like this is kind of like a newer product for XQ that we've developed. And so we're really excited to see where it goes and we're really excited to like, kind of like help students as they go on their different journeys with it. So I will, now that I'm not sharing my screen, I will share the link to the toolkit itself in the chat for you to kind of go through on your own as you would like. I'll also say a shout out. I know she's not here, but Emily has been one of our like, oh my gosh, like she has been so great at just like keeping my colleague Natisi and I honest about the toolkit and really like helping us like make even better versions of it. And so I extend that invitation to you all if you guys are going through this and you're like, hey, like, I think the toolkit is missing this, or like, I really love this tool. I really love this piece of like the toolkit, and I think that you guys should highlight it more. Like, I encourage you guys to like email me or like let Emily know, like however you want, like, and I'd love to like continue conversations with you. So I'll also put my email in the chat as well. If there
I
are
kind of have
any,
like a silly question.
yeah, go ahead.
So first off, is this like a online only toolkit?
So you're able to print it out as like a PDF. I think that's what we're working on. We made it like online facing so that you'd be able to like interact with it and like type directly into it. But yeah, you can definitely like print it out and interact with it that way. We have some students that do that.
Okay, and then for like the table of contents slide that you shared, so not to like nitpick it or anything, because I think it's super great and I'm
No,
definitely interested
please.
in going through it. But have you guys thought about like instead of grouping it vertically, grouping it horizontally? Because my first impression when I looked at it was that like you only do those exercises if you're needing to do like that specific group, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
So where if you grouped it horizontally, it would be like a continuous thing.
I love that. I love that.
So that was just like once you started talking about it more, I figured it out for myself. But like it's, and again, just a suggestion of like from the way that I think of it, if that makes sense. But I think it's really great. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's exactly the type of feedback that we want to like get from y'all, Like I think I can be honest with saying like we're continuously like iterating on this. We want this to like serve y'all like first and foremost. So if there are any like even like design, like I'm personally really like I think it looks really cute, but even if there are little like design things that like y'all want to like highlight to make it more appealing to folks, like I welcome that too. But thanks so much, Nicole, for the feedback. All right, y'all. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to y'all. I hope I did the toolkit justice, but yeah, just reiterating everything I said, like if you take some time to look at this on your own, you have my email. Like please, like you're always welcome to set up time with me or send any feedback my way. But yeah, just thank you for allowing me to be in this space and hope to get to see you guys soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kayla. That was super informative. Love the SAC had lots of questions, so clearly it resonates with them. And thanks for offering your email. We will definitely follow up as we have questions.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Right. All right, thanks everyone for your engagement with that. And we will share these links later on with a follow-up email like we always do. I know sometimes it's hard when things are being dropped in Zoom and you don't get to keep, you can't keep up with all of them. But I'm going to keep us moving. And the next part of our discussion is going to be fairly interactive, and I'll kick it to Dania to walk us through it.
Yeah, so as we prepare for next year, we want to be really thoughtful about, from y'all's perspective, what you would like for us to focus on next year. And so we're actually going to put y'all into two breakout rooms, which I'll send you into in a moment. And we're going to do an activity called Jamboard, which if you want to unshare your screen, Edith, I can share mine. I'm going to send the link in the chat. So what Jamboard is, if y'all haven't used it before, it's essentially like a shared whiteboard experience for y'all to engage in. And on the top of each screen, each group is going to have its own page, and you're going to add answers to this question, kind of like that, kind of like an activity where you're like having a shared whiteboard and putting sticky notes. This is the same thing, but virtual. And so you're going to answer this one question as a group. What topics would you like the SAC to focus on related to college and career readiness? You could also include here, like, how would you like for us to approach them in the sense that, like, for example, if you're like, I really wish we did more breakout rooms, or I wish we did XYZ, that's something that you can put here too. So I'm going to show y'all how it works. You'll go over here to the left bar and you'll click sticky note and you'll say, this is my note, yay. And you'll save it and it'll show up here. And then once you're done, you can just, you can add more, you can move them around, and that's how it works. Let me go ahead and delete this one. And then if you're not group one, there's only going to be 2 groups. So if you're not group one, then you'll go to this page and you'll put your stuff on group 2's page. So, this is a good time to just talk about like your experience in this group, talk about what you wish that you had as a part of this group, and what you hope for the folks next year to be able to engage with.